Howdy. Welcome back to Dion Talk. When it comes to real estate, especially in a hot market like we're seeing, where for the last 2 years, it's been a seller's market. Interest rates are going up. I think transactions are going to drop by probably like 50%. So I think agents and brokers might start looking for a side hustle. But as investors, how do we find those properties? If you're familiar with my content, you know that all of my deals are from the MLS. I have no secret sauce, no special secret tactic for finding new leads. So like Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time, when I'm going to talk about a subject that I haven't done, I'm going to bring in an expert. I'm going to bring in my friend Bryce, who owns REI Results Academy, where he actually teaches tactics and strategies on how to increase your lead generation by superpowering your social media. He probably has other tactics too, but that's what we're going to talk about today. Bryce, if you could tell me a little bit about your company, and then let's tear into that subject of how to get leads from social media.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dion, for having me. So our company was formed a little out of desperation and need, twofold, right? I was in a really good partnership turned sour, not sour. One partner got married, the other one moved out of town, and I was left with the weight of my shoulders and a non-compete in place, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And so instead of continuing to work my market, I decided to take what we had been doing, since nobody else was teaching it, and we've been doing it for years, and started teaching and educating the industry. And it just kind of blew up organically, and we've been super blessed. And so I'm excited to talk about why and how we do what we do and why it's different.
I'm actually kind of excited to learn this strategy myself, because most of how I've grown my content and the people who watch my content has been through social media. So how does this work?
Yeah, so number one, I think that most people think that they have to have like social media influencer status or this huge following to engage and produce leads in social media. And that's just not the case, Dion. The number one factor that starting out to increase your lead flow and get organic, free, hot motivated sellers to reach out to you is having a vettable profile. And what I mean by that is, like, I can't stress this enough. Stop posting your political, religious beliefs about your cat's, dog's, church, and all of the things that you believe to be valuable when really it's just your opinion. So number one, we always start like really honing in what a vettable profile looks like. It's, when somebody searches your name and they do a Google search, does your Facebook profile picture look the same as your TikTok or your Instagram or your YouTube profile, if you have any or all of the above? Your LinkedIn profile, right? Make sure that they all look uniform across the board. If you have a mission statement or some sort of statement, for example, like ours on my profile, it says we help and scale and maximize REI results consistently through lead gen and sales negotiation tactics, right? Very direct, to the point, but it says that all the way across all of our social media platforms. So number one, get some consistency on your profiles across any and all profiles that you have out there. That's the first thing. The second thing that we do then is we delegate 10 to 15 minutes every single day where you can be consistent, show up, and jump into your profile. And we prefer Facebook. That is the demographic in which most of our homeowners nowadays are at, right? Like that 40 plus homeowner, it's their second or third home, or they've inherited a home and they're in that 35 to 45 plus age group. Well, they're not on TikTok. They may be on their TikTok, like looking at other pictures, but they're not producing content, right? And so we really focus on Facebook and Craigslist and joining groups and posting content and things like that in and around there. So that's kind of where we'll start, right?
Well, I really like the idea of looking at the social platform that you're looking at based on the type of person you're looking for. So looking for somebody that's going to sell might be a more seasoned person. But if you are looking for buyers, if we switch from a seller's market to a buyer's market, maybe that's the time to go to the social media platforms for younger people that people my age aren't using.
Yeah. And surprisingly, it's not much different, because most of the seasoned real buyers, right? We don't want, somebody wholesaling or daisy chaining our deal, right? How many of us have experienced that? We want a seasoned buyer that can show up every single time, or maybe a hedge fund manager on LinkedIn or in a little more engaged seasoned group in Facebook. It's not a lot of difference. It's just the demographic, right? The age and profile of the person is probably about the same, but it's a different financial demographic. And those are really hard to find nowadays unless you're running paid traffic. And so right now, just talking about organic traffic, it's not very different as much as it is just the mentality. So you shift your focus in and around the same media platforms, just where you're going, right? And so one of the things that I often say to people that I work with is like, go where the people are, right? So Dion, before we started talking, I was like, we should join Facebook groups. And there's a lot of coaches and mentors right now talking about how Facebook groups are and Craigslist groups and things like that are beneficial. But we've been doing this 10 plus years. A lot of them have just shifted and adapted through what we recently went through in the pandemic and things like that. And they don't fully understand the magnitude and the reach capabilities that are available. And so that's where we really hone in on what to do and how to do it in that 10 to 20 minute window every single day, Monday through Friday. So I'm excited to share with you that.
So I run a truck driving school, and I understand branding and how each campus needs to look the same. All the trucks need to look the same. Our advertising looks the same. I like the idea of getting your different social media platforms to look the same. That's actually something I haven't done. I know that Instagram, which I'm hardly ever on, and Facebook look the same, but my LinkedIn looks very different. You said something interesting. How do you get a motivated seller to reach out to you? That's the thing I want to understand.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up. So here's how we do it and what we've taught. First things first, we have learned over the years and course of business that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. I don't necessarily agree with that. I believe that people do business with people they know, like, or trust, but they always do business with people that share a common belief. And so I believe that people do business with people that they believe similar things, right? And so if we're looking for a homeowner that's an absentee landlord, or we're looking for a homeowner that is going through a divorce, or we're looking for a homeowner that is upgrading or downsizing, we can go into those belief systems by looking at groups specific to those areas. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of coaches and mentors recently making the shift are like, you should go and join all these real estate Facebook groups. Well, what if we switch that narrative and said, we're going to go join yard sale groups? Why yard sale groups? Well, people in yard sale groups are looking for a deal, or they're selling a deal. They're downsizing or upgrading, getting rid of things, or buying things at a discount. There's a mentality there, right? Or what about HOA groups, tight-knit communities that are looking for community and having daily conversations and know who's coming and going, moving and shaking in their neighborhood? Or what about the antiquer that's looking to buy or sell antiques? Where do you think they're getting antiques from? Right? Swip, swap, garage sale, yard sale, the combination of the three, yard sale, swip, swap, all in one groups, right? All of these different combination of words create thousands, if not tens of thousands of different types of groups in and around these situations. Because while most of us investors deal with distressed properties, we more so deal with distressed situations, people that are going into debt, divorced, bankruptcies, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, right? All of these situations that then dictate the secondary and underlying distressed property. But how many of us have gotten the deal that the property didn't need much and we quote unquote hotel? We put some lipstick on it and rented it out, or we put some lipstick on it and retailed it out. We can still get some great deals there if we focus on the situation and not the circumstances of the property. And so one of the things that we teach is what we call our value ask. So let's say hypothetically, we spent 5 days a week joining 10 groups every morning It takes a whole 5 minutes to do that, right? We go to the group section of Facebook and we type in yard sale. 200 groups come up in our area and we join 10 of them. Why 10? Well, if you join 12 or 13 plus your normal activity throughout the day when you go on your lunch break, if you're working a 9 to 5 or whatever, now you've messed with the algorithm. Facebook thinks that you're a bot and they kick you out, put you in Facebook jail. And so 10 is kind of that magic number. It's easy to manage. So every morning you join 10 groups, and let's just say you did that Monday through Friday. Right? So now you're in 50 groups, times that by 4 weeks. Now you're at 200 groups by the end of the month, and maybe half of them approved you. So now you've got 100 groups that you're managing. Well, then we step it up and say, we only want to join groups that are like 5,000 persons or more. Well, now you've got 500,000 potential people that your product, service, or ask is going to be in front of, and it hasn't cost you anything but 10 minutes, 5 minutes of the 10-minute time block, right? So the second part of that is that value ask. Keeping track of this is very simple. Put the group name, link, and date that you joined, and date that it was approved, and date that you posted into an Excel spreadsheet, and voila, now you're organized. It's super simple. The value ask now is we go in, we take that remaining 5 minutes and just skim the group, like, oh, there's a bunch of bikes for sale, there's a bunch of cats and dogs for swap, or somebody selling a boat, and you put in a post and you tag somebody in the group like, hey Dion, did you ever find a buyer for that boat? Create some engagement, right? And now every day 2 or 3% or 20 or 30%, it's usually about 25% of that group in a 5,000 person group is seeing you engage, and your name becomes, oh, Dion's in here today, or Dion's asking about so-and-so's boat, right? And then on the third day or the sixth day, that following Monday rolls around and you're like, hey guys, quick question. And you can't just come out and be like, I'm a real estate investor. No, you're like, anybody stressed out with trying to sell your property and getting multiple offers and showings and things like that? I'm an investor and I'm looking for one more project. One of our clients got really creative and he was like, wife just left me and I need a project to keep my mind occupied. Anybody got a fixer-upper that they just want to sell? Shoot me a message. And inevitably, you're going to get 10 or 15 people, 2 or 3 people that are haters. And I'm a firm believer of focus on your supporters, not the reporters. So you're going to get some will, some won't, so what, move on, right? But that third ask is just putting it out there like, hey, this is what I do. I'd love to help somebody out of a tough situation if you need it. Shoot me a message if you want more information, or shoot me a message if you know somebody that needs to buy or sell a property. It doesn't have to be a hard ask. But you do that 3 times throughout the week and stagger that into those 100 groups that approved you. By the end of the month, you've got 10 or 15 hot, motivated leads. That's 2 to 5 deals that you would have never gotten anywhere else unless you tried to pay and figure out your demographic, run multi-split test ads and all the things.
That is a set of brilliant tactics. And for anybody watching that has their notepad out, remember it in a video, we can learn 3 things. Your brain can retain 3 things. If you get a 4th, you don't lose the 4th, you lose all 4 of them. So the strategy here is to superpower your social media. The tactics is to think of the groups that make sense for what you're looking to do, even if it's not real estate directly related. So this is a brilliant tactic. It's actually something that I might start looking into. So I think that's definitely going to help somebody out here. I run a truck driving school, and most people don't like to know this, but almost everything a business does is sales. You are selling a product, you are selling a service, you are selling your own abilities or your own skill set. At the truck driving school, commercial driver school that I'm the president of, we're selling local jobs, be home every night. So I do a lot of sales training with our office staff. You have just shown people a way to generate leads. And I understand that you also, I can tell by the way you're talking, you teach salesmanship. So you and I should make a video on what you teach for sales.
But not today.
So in the comments below, if you'd like to see that video from me and Bryce on the different sales techniques that we can use in real estate, let me know. And Bryce, for the people who don't want to let me know in the comments, but want to reach out to you and get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Dion. So first and foremost, my name, Bryce McKinley. I'm sure Dion's got it pinned somewhere around the video or talk that you're listening to, right? You can search me on any one of my platforms. Because of that vettable profile, you'll easily find me that way. And, my personal assistant and I, we respond back directly. So if it's not me, it's somebody right next to me having that conversation by way of mouth. And then, we do have a book. It's $7 if you're interested in that at the number 5hourflip.com, 5hourflip.com. And Dion, that actually breaks down in massive detail that organic strategy. Here's the thing I'm excited about. I'm excited to hear and see the comments below, you guys. If you're interested in hearing that sales talk, one of my favorite things to do and talk about is my WASP selling system. And it is questions that sting that get people to move. So if you want to hear that, make sure that you comment down below. Let Dion know that you want me to come back. I'd be happy to come back.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And thanks for taking the time to come and help.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Until my next video, thanks for coming to my Dion Talk.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
And then the video will end there. And we'll just hang out and talk for a minute. And we're still recording, but I do this just in case something brilliant comes out, which is so weird. It comes out usually after we're
Usually
done.
does, right?
I do these videos with the three amigos, Matt, the lumberjack landlord, and Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time. And Matt, he's the smartest person I think I've ever ran into. And as soon as I hit stop recording, he dumps out the smartest thing we've said in the last 20 minutes every time.
Something profound.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're absolutely right about you get some people who like you and some people who don't. I just had 3 articles come out in Business Insider. Mm-hmm. And the first one was, reaching financial freedom, and a bunch of people liked it. The second one was my strategy that gets tenants to request a rent increase. That hit Reddit, and man, there's thousands of people who want me dead. Like you can't imagine the horrible thing. So I'm going to make some videos like, here's a specific statement, because people hate landlords. They hate success. It's just funny. Cause you're right. Somebody will find a way to hate what you're doing.
It's funny you say that. I uninstalled Reddit from my phone because I would get in this rabbit hole of reading, and then all of a sudden it'd be this other rabbit hole of negativity. I told my wife, I don't even hear it, because she's a fan of Reddit, and she's in there every morning and part of her morning routine. And I'm just there are some mean, angry people, man.
I just go in and ask, do you have an articulate thought, or are you just a keyboard coward? And then that spurs them into going on forever.
You just stir the pot.
Stir the pot, right, exactly. And then I go, here's my address. This is when I'll be there. Come on over.